So unlike last time, I'm not gonna like say we did it, folks. We are now, as you can see, 70%, or 77%, I should say, through with kindergarten. No problem. Let's move on. Next is measurement and geometry. Compare size. Which one is bigger? So again, bigger is a word that we learn in kindergarten as a description, right? But it's also a mathematical term that means greater in dimension in some way. It looks to me like the whale is pretty clearly bigger. In fact, if we were to like sort of outline the shark, I could probably take that shark outline and fit it all the way inside, the whale. So the whale is definitely bigger than the shark. Which is smaller? Pretty clearly the acorn. Which is bigger? Pretty clearly the seal. That's not a seal, that's a walrus. This is math, not taxonomy. Which one is smaller? The pony. Easy peasy. Moving on. Now we compare length. Which one is taller? Now again, this is kind of the same thing as bigger, smaller, but again, we are now going to make a distinction between height and width. It's a very, very, very small step, but it's a very, very big idea. So that pony is clearly taller. The sheep looks like it's shorter. I don't know how that sheep walks. Look at it. Its legs are so itty bitty bitty bitty. Which one is longer? No comments, please. Which one is taller? The fox. No problem. And with that, we move down to basic shapes. So we've already done some problems that required students to know what the names of shapes were. In fact, way back last week in numbers and counting, we asked students to count how many circles are there, how many rectangles are there, how many triangles are there. So we've already kind of quizzed students on this stuff, but now we're really going to codify it and make sure students know exactly what name matches which shape. This one should be pretty quick. That's a square. And in fact, I think I can zoom in a bit. There we go. Which one's a square? The Scrabble tile. Which one's a circle? The compact disc. Kids, that's a compact disc, also known as a CD. We used to put those into our Walkmans, and when we walked really hard, they would skip and our music would not sound very good. You all and your newfangled MP3s and digital music. Which shape is a triangle? Well, that is a triangle. Which shape is a square? The pink one. Which shape is a rectangle? The football field. Yeah, I said football and not soccer. Deal with it, Americans. Fellow Americans. What is this shape? That is a rectangle. You can't talk about things without knowing the names of things. You just can't. So, we need to make sure that our students know the names of things going forward. The meme that I shared last week about what the hell is a triangle is particularly appropriate here. Name shapes too. What shapes are rectangles? That one and only that one. What shapes are circles? Choose all that apply. So it looks to me like C is the only circle. B looks kind of like a circle, but it's not quite a circle. We're going to learn what that is much later. Which shapes are triangles? Well, I see two triangles. And if you feel comfortable at this point breaking down the word triangle into tri meaning three and angle meaning angle, like if you feel like your child or your student is able to handle that, please do it. Like, the earlier we can start teaching students how to break down words like they break down numbers, the better off everyone will be across disciplines. I'm telling you, the difference between mathematics and language arts is not as distinct as people think it is. Which shapes are squares? So B is clearly a square. When I look at A, I would expect some kindergarteners to say it's like a diamond, but the fact that it's tilted doesn't change the fact that it's a square. It still has 4 equal sides, it still has 4 right angles. Not that kindergarteners know what either of those things are. Which shapes are rectangles? That one and that one. And it's good to see that rectangles come in different shapes, whereas squares only come in different sizes, and that's a little bit weird. We'll learn more about that later. Looks like we've got 3 circles here. And we've got all triangles. Captain Crunch, oops, all triangles. Done. So now we have a quiz on basic shapes and comparing sizes. Let's go ahead and get through that. We've got 1, 2, 3 squares. We've got a mouse that is shorter than this monkey. And I see 1, 2, 3 rectangles. Man, Khan Academy is really throwing a lot of all of the above questions at us these days. Which one is longer? The caterpillar, with its adorable little shoes, is clearly longer than this pillbug, with its total lack of shoes. I see 2 circles, and I guess we would call this an oval at the kindergarten level. I imagine it's actually an ellipse, but that's way later. Quiz 1 is finished. Comparing shapes. All right, so now we're talking about relative position as promised. In which picture is the seal next to the otter? Next to means either to the left of or to the right of. And again, it's like, this seems like the kind of thing you would expect in an English class. What does next to mean? But it's important in math because we need this language to be able to do math problems. So I see that there is a picture here where the seal is next to the otter, and it looks like that's the only one. Which shape is above the circle? Well, above means to the top of, I guess. Translated upward, it's the blue square. Which animal is in front of the bricks? Well, it looks to me like the penguin is behind the bricks, so the cow is in front of the bricks. And notice how we don't even expect the students to know the words for these animals yet, even though they probably do. Oh, and by the way, just in case it wasn't clear, and I never made this clear, way at the top on the URL, if instead of khanacademy.org you put es.khanacademy.org, it will translate the whole site into Spanish. I'm going to bring that up a few more times because, you know, it's pretty important. In which picture is the ice cream next to the hot dog? Looks like A. Which shape is above the pink square? Looks like the green circle. Which animal, is that a fox? I think that's a fox, is in front of the fence? That would be A. In which picture is the ice cream below the hamburger? So the ice cream is below the hamburger there, and only there. That's relative position. All done. Compare shapes, and then compose shapes, and then we're almost done with this unit. Wait. Compare shapes, then compose shapes. Which shape is round? Again, It's all vocabulary. What does round even mean? I feel like I'm thinking about the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where there's a whale falling from the sky. Don't ask. Read the series. It's great. This shape is round. That shape is square. We're not being super precise about our definitions. Okay? We aren't saying that round specifically means, like it does in algebra or later on, it doesn't mean it is all points that are equidistant from a center. That's what a circle is. There's the center, and all points, all radiuses are all equidistant. That's the definition. We're not doing that now. This is kindergarten. It's just round. It's okay to have a certain intuition on these very basic words. Which shape has sides that are all the same length? Looks like this hexagon here. I'm sorry, this pentagon here. I'm a math teacher. Which shape has more corners? And again, corners, angles, we're going to start mixing these vocabulary words up. Looks to me like this rectangle has more corners than this triangle. Which shape has fewer sides? So we've talked already in kindergarten about the words greater and fewer, and now we're just mixing in the word sides. This one A has 5 sides, this one B has 3 sides, that one has fewer. Which shape is round? Now B is an octagon that looks roundish. It looks rounder than a square did. It looks a little bit more round, but it's clearly not round. But if your child notices that, hey, wait a second, that looks kind of like a circle. Encourage that, because it's true that the more sides that you add to a regular polygon, the more circle-ish it becomes, and that's going to come up way, way down the line. All right, so that one's round. Which shape has 4 sides of the same length? That would be this purple square here. And again, I like that they're throwing colors in without even asking the students to name them. It's another way of making them distinct. Which shape has fewer corners? Well, they both have 3 corners. They're both triangles. We could call them tricorners. And in fact, the tricorn hat is the hat that you see like the Minutemen wear in the Fallout series. They have the same number of corners. And we have successfully compared shapes.